one of two things is occurring right now in Delaware. Either Greg Lavelle is not the Greg Lavelle that everybody knows. Instead, he is one of the most despicable human beings in history. Or that commercial that we've heard from Mike Katz's wife is in itself one of the most despicable ads ever. And that question will be addressed Friday on this program as we have Mike Katz and Greg Lavelle face-to-face in one of the nastiest campaigns ever here in the state of Delaware. 3 o'clock, right after the news at 3 o'clock, Greg Lavelle and Mike Katz. I actually had these votes sent to me. I want to know what's the deal. Because there's Mike Katz's wife saying that we were on the phone so he could speak his last words to me. That was December 2010. He seems fine now. So much for the last words. They were obviously not his last words. The other thing is that there were news stories about this in the News Journal and such. He had a 100% meeting attendance record just a few months after this accident on the ski slope. So in December of 2010, he falls off a ski lift, or the ski lift falls. He's hurt. Between March and May of 2011, he's got a 100% track record of going to meetings. The question is, what's up with that? Throughout the course of 2011, he misses a few meetings here and there. Now, 2 years later, in 2012, he's missing like 54% of his meetings. There are people in committees going, where's Katz? Where's Katz? Why isn't he here? So you have this commercial saying that he's recuperating from all this, but then there's Mike Katz telling the News Journal, oh, I'll be fine. I can go to the first session in January. What? Wait a second. He's hurt in December. His wife makes it sound like the guy's on death's doorstep, and they're having their last phone call. And Greg Lavelle is a horrible person for politicizing this. And yet there's Katz missing meetings and getting paid for all the meetings he's missing. There's Greg Lavelle saying, I'm going to give all my raises, all my pay increases to charity, $30,000, and he's doing it. And Greg Lavelle saying, I don't believe that you should be paid to go to these committee meetings unless you go to them. He said he didn't even know that you were allowed to call in and do it by phone. So something stinks here. And I think that ad really stretches the truth, unless Mike Katz has been seeing doctors 2 years later for his injuries that kept him from meetings, or he was actually healthy in 2011 when he said he was. And it just that thing is just bizarre, man. Just bizarre. So, Greg Lavelle's did a call in around 3:30. I have invited both of them in advance of the debate on Friday. I have invited them both to be on 3:30 today to talk about this. I have not yet received a response from Mike Katz, but Greg will be on. Now, if Mike Katz says, hey, I can't be on today, but I can be on tomorrow, I'll let him be on tomorrow. That's fine. Because I want to know, what's his doctor saying? They're making this a huge piece of his campaign. And they're painting Greg Lavelle like he's the most horrible person in the world.
Wait a second. You're saying if Mike Katz can't be on Friday, but he can be on tomorrow.
No, I'm saying he can't be on today at 3:30, but he can be on tomorrow. The debate is
Friday
at 3.
Yeah.
I've invited them both to be on today.
Oh, okay.
In advance.
Okay.
Yeah, just because of this commercial, which is stunning. And if you look at the record of when Mike Katz had his accident and his attendance a few months later, it looks like, okay, he was fine. And he recuperated.
Unless he was in a movable like a wheelchair or something like that.
I have no idea.
They just, brought him in mobily.
We'll ask him, have you been in a wheelchair? Well, that's a good question. We'll ask, have you been in a wheelchair?
I mean, you figure you break your back. How long does the recovery?
Depends.
Depends where it's broken or how it's broken.
If it's a
convoluted or convex, one of those three ways they could get broken.
If it's a crack vertically in one of the bones, you can be up and running in a couple of weeks. If it's actually severed, that's life-threatening.
Yeah.
And you have surgery for that. All right, on the phone, State Representative and running for State Senate, Greg Lavelle. This is in response to the commercial from Mike Katz, Senator Dr. Katz's wife. It's a commercial she did for her husband, the state senator, saying Greg Lavelle is unfair and cruel for calling attention to Senator Katz getting paid for meetings he didn't attend, saying that she was worried about her husband's life. He was involved in a horrible ski accident. But that was back in December of 2010. He made a lot of meetings in 2011. It was this year, 2012. He's missing like 54% of the meetings. And Greg, she makes you sound like some horrible person, but when you look at the numbers, I don't know, it makes me wonder, well, why is he missing all these meetings this year when it seems like, according to his attendance, he's recovered?
Yeah, and it really does not paint me in a good light, Rick. And I was raised in a family where you respect people. I was raised in a family where you certainly put family first. I've had my own challenges with my family. Some people know that. It's not what I do. I would never attack. I was not attacking Senator Katz's family or this particular accident. But anyway, let's get back to January, after January 2011. He had the accident at the end of December. He was back in session, back at work within 2 to 3 weeks. This is with respect to the Joint Sunset Committee. Those are the meetings we're talking about. That's the committee where he gets a stipend. He accuses me of taking a stipend, yet he gets a stipend as well. In the first 3.5 months after his accident, he missed one meeting out of 6 meetings. He missed a meeting in January. He made 3 meetings in February. He made a meeting in March. He made a meeting in April. Then he missed one on April 14th, and then he was back again at the end of April, and he missed one in May. He missed 33% of the meetings in 2011. But again, for the 3-month period after his accident, he only missed one meeting.
And that was how many meetings?
A total of 9 meetings.
Out of 9 meetings, he missed one.
And then when you fast forward, or just don't fast forward, when you get to 2012 and you look at his attendance record for the Joint Sunset Committee, where he gets a stipend, and he criticized me for taking a stipend that he gets as well, different amount of money, different committees have different stipends. His attendance was 54%. He missed 54% of the meetings in 2012. This is 13 months after his accident, Rick. And
if you're going to be on a committee, whether it's a money committee or a sunset committee, and sunset committee is very important.
They do a lot of work.
They do a lot of work studying laws that have been designed to sunset or end and decide whether or not to bring them up for continuation or allow them to simply end. And it's really one of the most important committees.
He missed the last 5 Sunset Committee meetings held in 2012.
The reason I invited Dr. Katz to be on the show today is to answer that, to ask him, did you have doctor's appointments in 2012? Did something come back from these injuries? Does something reoccur? What's the reason?
That doesn't count. That is going to be just an excuse, Rick. Let me tell you about an email that Senator Katz's campaign sent out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
This was an email last week on the election coming up, right? Everybody wants to help. Your last-minute lit drops, this, that, and the other thing. This is one that just went yesterday. Senator Mike Katz has been working very hard for the community, and he has walked most of the district knocking on doors since January 2012. That ad portrays me, as you said, I won't say the word, but an SOB, because I'm so mean, and it used the phrase a few meetings. It was more than a few meetings. But if Senator Katz has the energy, if Senator Katz has the stamina, if Senator Katz is in the good enough health to knock on doors, quote, since January 2012, then he should go to his meetings.
That's absolutely true.
Let me finish this thing. He has taken the time on weekends, after work and family time, to meet taxpayers and discuss issues. Quote, finally, quote, he has literally worn through a pair of sneakers doing this. That doesn't sound like a man who's on his deathbed. That doesn't sound like a man who a doctor would say, you know what, you shouldn't be out working like this sort of hours or putting this sort of stress on your body. I've had people tell me, Rick, that they see him jogging regularly on Kennett Pike, right near his Centerville home. Dr. Katz lives in Centerville, up and down Route 52 in Centerville, jogging at the beach. I've seen him jogging at the beach. The ad is a distraction and a deflection from the issue that he raised about stipends. And when we looked at his record with respect to stipends, he doesn't have a very good record about it. So instead of, and even if he has, and again, I don't discount that he was in an accident. I don't discount that his wife was horribly concerned about the health for him and his two children. I think it was two children that were on the ski lift. But he could have gone to Senator DeLuca and said, you know, Senator DeLuca, I'm way over my head now. I've got doctor's appointments. My kids need this, that, and the other thing. Please, you know, put somebody else in here to do this work on the Sunset Committee. He didn't do that.
Well, it's a good point. I got to tell you, when I hear this commercial with his wife now, you know, saying, I'm going to hear his last words and all this, I will be visualizing Senator Dr. Katz jogging on the beach, wearing through a second set of sneakers. I mean, I really wish he had been on, but I know that you'll be addressing this 3 o'clock on Friday.
And finally, and then I heard you guys chat about an hour and a half ago, and if he comes on tomorrow, I'm available.
Yeah.
Anytime, I am available.
Absolutely.
So don't worry about that. I appreciate you having me on. I look forward to coming on Friday to continue to discuss the campaign.
And we'll get this on the podcast page.
Thank you very much.
All right. Greg Lavelle running for state senate against Mike Katz here on WDEL.